Hey guys, this is Peter Scott, and welcome to the fifth, I can't believe it, of the Earn 10K coaching course. The last four modules have been jam-packed with content around sales, around marketing, around social media, around how to enroll clients, and this one is very, very, very important. It may not be what you think you want to know about building a coaching business or adding people to your downline, but it's what you actually need to know. You see, guys, when it comes to marketing, you have got to be able to market to people what they want and then give them what they need. There's a big distinction between marketing to them what they want and giving them what they need. What they want, for example, could be, let's say that somebody enters your Beachbody business or your Isogenics business or some sort of health and fitness coaching business that you have. And this person may want to, have some magic diet pill or some nutritional supplement or some home study fitness program that you can offer them to get them a transformation in their body. That's what they want. But you and I know what they truly need is not some nutritional resource. It's not some fitness program. What they truly need is a shift in their identity, a shift in their mindset, a shift in how they view themselves, because until that identity is shifted, they will continue to miss out on the results that they've been pursuing for so long. So, this call is all focused on the mindset, the psychology of what I call fearless coaching. Fearless coaching. Okay. This is a very specific type of coaching that is the only type of coaching that can get your clients massive results. Okay. And that's going to be the focus of this entire call. So I want to start by saying this. Many of you, I know Eric on the last call, if you guys are watching this live, if you're watching the recording, then I'm referencing the last call. But Eric, we talked about the possibility of you offering a new coaching program at a much higher price than what you've offered in the past. Okay. And it would require a lot more work on your end in terms of connecting with them on a one-on-one basis once a week, but it will also deliver them a lot of value. And one thing that I noticed based on our conversation, and one thing that I notice in many of my coaching clients, is that when they get clarity around what this coaching program looks like, or not when they get clarity, but when they get an idea of a possibility of creating it, they think they need to be crystal clear on how every call is going to go, on how every module is going to be, on what every single week is supposed to look like. And the reality is waiting for that clarity is going to leave you waiting literally for the rest of your life. So there's a myth here. As usual, I'm going to start with a myth, and I want you guys to write this down. The myth is I must get clear on my coaching program before I start coaching. Okay, I must get clear on my coaching program before I start coaching. The truth is clarity, and write this down, guys. This is so, so valuable. If you get this one nugget, just this, if you were to hang up after I say these words and not listen to any of the preceding calls, your business, your life, and everything could change and transform if you actually adopt this one truth. And the truth is this: clarity is a result, not a requirement. Let me say that again. Clarity is a result, not a requirement. Anything that I teach with you guys, I want you to go and train your downline on. I want you to go teach this principle to your coaching clients because it applies to humanity. This is a law of the universe that has been around for as long as humanity has been around. And I'll share a story to illustrate what I mean by this truth that clarity is a result, not a requirement. Okay. Imagine, guys, for a second that you're walking through a pitch black cave. Okay. It's a pitch black cave and you have nothing but a flashlight illuminating your path. Okay. You can't see your destination. You have no idea how to get from where you are to where you want to end up. All you have is a flashlight illuminating the next few steps. But with every step that you take, one after another, more and more of your path becomes illuminated. You see, more and more of your path becomes clear as you are taking action, as you are moving forward until you turn around and you realize you've arrived at your destination. Now, how many times in your life have you been stuck with that flashlight in a pitch black cave, afraid to move forward? How many times in your life have you thought, whoa, I need to illuminate the cave. I need to have spotlights that shows every twist and turn, every up and down, the step-by-step process to go from where I am to where I want to be. How many times, if you've done this before, type yes into the chat box so I know that this is landing, because this shows up in every area of your life. Think about your clients. Think about people in your downline, whether it's Beachbody, whether it's Isagenix, maybe it's people in your health and fitness coaching business, your business coaching business, your love relationship coaching business, whatever it is. Most people think they need to get crystal clear before taking action. But the truth is, taking action and clarity is a result from doing the thing that scares you. Clarity is a result from taking action, not a requirement to doing it. Okay, so that's number one. I want you guys to adopt this mindset for yourself as you begin to build this coaching business, as you add more people to your programs and your challenges and your downlines. And I want you to encourage your students, your coaching clients about this mindset, okay? Because this is how the people that have created the most impact in humanity have operated, from this place of trusting the process, of not needing to know exactly how to get from A to B. When I launched my coaching business, guys, I had no idea how to become a #1 best-selling author. I had no idea how to lead a live event. I had no idea how to lead a group coaching program like this. But over time and over my commitment of doing things that scared me every single day, I became clear, and now I can go teach others how to do it. But that's a result from just taking action to start that. Okay, so that's number one. Myth number two is my job as a coach is to make my downline, or my job as a coach is to make my clients comfortable. That's a huge, huge myth in this business. Okay. Your job, if you're wanting to powerfully serve, if you're wanting to powerfully coach, is not to make anyone comfortable in your life. Okay. Your job is actually to support your clients in creating massive results. That's what they hired you for. Creating massive results, not making them comfortable. That means you're going to have to show up powerfully and ask them really confronting questions, really make them uncomfortable to look at the blind spots in their life. You see, this past weekend, guys, I went through an experience called Ascension Leadership Academy, and it was the 4 most powerful days of my entire life. I've done so much personal growth. It's insane, and I know many of you have as well. But the unique difference about this one experience compared to everything else that I've done is that every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day of this program, I was uncomfortable. I was way outside of my comfort zone. I was being confronted. I was being challenged. I was being pushed over and over and over and over. And that's what caused me to grow. You have got to do that same thing. You've got to take that same stand for your clients, for your downline, for your loved ones, for your friends, for your potential business partners. People don't pay attention to people that make them feel comfortable. Okay. And I'm not saying be rude. I'm not saying be mean. I'm just saying challenge people in your life, especially your people that are working. I know many of you have a Beachbody or an Isagenix business on this call and listening to this recording. Challenge your downline to their greatness. Hold that space, because that's how you ultimately hit your financial goals, is by them performing, by you accepting the fact that they're not making phone calls, that they're not posting on social media, that they're not actually creating meetup groups or enrolling people into different products or different challenges. By you accepting that is a reflection of your own lack of commitment to yourself. Okay. So that's a big, big piece that I wanted to share with you. Now, another very, very important myth is this desire, this need, this attachment to get somebody to say yes. Okay, to get somebody to say yes. So let's say that you're talking to a prospective coaching client. Let's say that you're talking to somebody who's wanting to transform their health and fitness, and you think Beachbody products could do it, or Isagenix products, or supplements. If you're attached to getting them to say yes, if you're attached to them signing up, then you're not going to serve them powerfully because you're in it for the wrong reason. Okay. The myth is trying to get everyone to yes. The truth, the absolute truth is that yes, and write this down, yes lives in the land of no. Yes lives in the land of no. So get as many no's as possible. I want you guys literally collecting no's. When you think about that family member that you know would benefit from what you have, but you're afraid to get rejected, instead of trying to get a yes from that family member, get a no. This is a totally different mindset shift and could have a radical transformation on the way you operate in business. Okay. I oftentimes, when I'm talking with a prospective coaching client, I am interviewing them. They're not interviewing me. It's not a sales call. I'm literally challenging them to see if they're a fit for my coaching program. If any of you have coaching clients that are not committed, let me start over. If any of you have coaching clients that aren't getting the results that they are wanting, whether it's in their body, in their business, in their relationships, whatever it is, what I share with you is that it's not because of your great coaching or your poor coaching. The reason why those people aren't getting results is because of their lack of commitment, period. And this is true. And the only way and the most important stage of the relationship for you to qualify someone to be committed is before enrolling them. Okay. I don't want you bringing people into your Beachbody or Isagenix business, for example, who just want to kick the tires and, fall in love with this ideal fake lifestyle of financial freedom without doing any work. Why? Because then you've got people that you are relying on to go out there and enroll other people and share products and then share programs, and they're unwilling to do any work, and it looks bad on you. And then you get exhausted trying to manage those people. You get exhausted trying to inspire people. Okay? There's a really important paradigm in coaching, and it's this. I'm often asked, how do you know who is your ideal coaching client? How do you know who is your ideal coaching client? And what I often say is I use an analogy of the life of the Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard is, those people that fly out in a helicopter to save people that are stranded in the ocean from a shipwreck. They're in the middle of a storm, and they've got 6 seats on a helicopter, but there's 20 people on the boat that are out there in the ocean, potentially about to drown. And the question is, how do you know who to save? You simply save the people that are swimming towards you. If you have to choose, guys, the only people that you can enroll, the only people that you can quote unquote save are the people that are swimming towards you. If you try to save everyone, if you try to coach everyone, if you try to enroll everyone into your downline, you will drown in the process. You will literally drown in the process. So you've got to be able to distinguish and see, based on somebody's commitment, who is committed to swimming towards you. Towards you. Okay. Very, very, very important principle. So again, to bring how that relates to you guys is during that enrollment conversation, test their commitment, qualify them, tell them the truth that building a Beachbody business is not easy, because it's not. It is not easy. And whoever told you that it's easy lied to you, right? Is it simple? Yeah, there's a formula to it, but it sure as heck is not easy. It's going to require a lot of work, a lot of focus, a lot of hustle, a lot of trust, a lot of mentoring, a lot of reinvesting in yourself, a lot of taking on people that are not committed. It does require a lot of that. And you've got to go through that. And most people will quit. most people will give up on that journey. And that hurts your business if you're getting people that are half-assing it, if they're not fully committed. Okay. So I just had to absolutely tell you that. And the best way to do that is in that enrollment conversation. Convince them how hard this is, that they have to convince you that they're ready to work for you. They have to convince you that they're willing to do the work required. They have to convince you that they're going to transform their identity and stop eating fast food late or stop not working out and start getting highly committed. Okay. So those are several myths that I want to share with you. Now, there are 5 questions that I ask before every single coaching call that I want to share with you. A lot of the power of coaching, guys, is accountability. If you're not holding your clients accountable or holding your downline accountable to certain results, then they're not actually getting the results that they want or that you want them to get. Okay. So a lot of the power of coaching is making sure not only they're clear on their commitments of what they need to do, but also you're holding them accountable to doing those things, to actually following through and taking action on those things. Okay. So the first question that I always ask when I do a coaching call is I always begin with a positive focus. I always ask, what is one thing in your life that has gone really positive, or what's your positive focus over the last week? Okay. What that means is it doesn't have to be a enjoyable experience or an enjoyable event. It could be a devastating event. It could be the death of a family member. It could be the bankruptcy of a business. It could be the ending of a marriage. But what I ask for is, what was the positive focus of that situation, of that event? Because everything in life that is typically the most painful experiences, and I know you guys know this, often comes with a valuable lesson, with a blessing in disguise that we have no idea. So every single coaching call that I have, I start with, what's positive focus? What's the one thing that you had a breakthrough on? And how does that, so I go, what happened is my question. Why was it positive? What was the lesson that you learned? And how does it apply to other areas of your life? Okay. I'll give you an example. So imagine that, okay, I'll give you a very personal example. A couple years ago, my grandmother attempted suicide. Very personal, very traumatic experience. I was devastated. I started to feel shame. I started to feel guilty that she was alone and depressed. And I started to drift into this mindset of fear. Okay. And then I looked at it from a place of, how could this be positive? And what I pulled out of that experience was that the lesson that I learned is that I need to be communicating way more with my grandmother, because I had no idea the level of pain that she was in. And as a result of her attempting suicide, not only is she okay and healthy now, but her and I became so connected and so close. And I've talked to her on such a consistent basis. Our relationship has improved as a result of a devastating experience. That's an example, guys, of a positive focus. When your clients get on a call with you, you have to get them into a positive state of mind. If they get on and they're, oh my God, I'm struggling financially, I can't pay rent this month, or my wife just left me, or my dog just died, or whatever that is, and they're in this negative mindset, it doesn't matter how great of a coach you are or how much knowledge you have on a certain subject, you can't get them aligned into a positive place until you get their mindset right. So start with a positive focus, okay? Then I start with a win and I celebrate. And I say, what have you accomplished since our last call? What have you accomplished since our last call? Okay. Let's say maybe their commitment was to enroll a new client. Maybe it was to go to do Insanity or P90X 3 times last week, or do it, 7 days a week, whatever it is. I ask them what has been accomplished. Okay. So I'm clear on what's working for them. Question number 2 is, what did you intend to accomplish but did not? Okay. What did you intend to accomplish last week but did not? And guys, write these questions down. These are not only for coaching clients, but they're also for people in your downline. Okay. You've got to help them with that. The third question, oh yeah, let me go back. What did they intend to accomplish but did not. The reason why that's important is simply making sure that things don't fall through the cracks, because a lot of people who say don't follow through on a commitment one week may create an entirely new set of commitments next week when they never completed that one that was really important. Okay. Third question is this: what are the challenges I'm facing right now? And I'm going to ask you guys, what are the challenges that you are facing right now? We're going to open up the call at the end of this for some Q&A, and I want you to ask me for support and challenges that you're facing. Specifically, what is not working for you? What are you needing support with? You can do that with people in your downline. You can do that with people in your fitness challenges. And the cool thing is that it's giving you the information you need to create a great coaching call, to create a great support call. You see, people aren't paying you for your time. Remember that book that I recommended, Breaking the Time Barrier? They're paying you for results. And so if you're clear on the results that they want to get, the challenges that are slowing them down or stopping them, then it's your job to support them in overcoming that challenge and getting that result. That's it. You could accomplish that in a 5-minute call sometimes, versus an hour-long call where you think that they're paying you for your time when they're really just paying you for results. All right, guys? My fourth question is, the opportunities in front of me are. The opportunities in front of me are. Okay? I always look at opportunities because oftentimes people are overwhelmed with too many opportunities. And the truth is, when lacking clarity, an opportunity and a distraction look at like exactly the same thing. When you're not clear, right, you view every shiny object, every new, opportunity as something that you've got to do, and it averts your attention from the thing that you should be focused on. So I ask them, what are the opportunities, and are those opportunities important, and are they something we should be focused on right now in this moment, or are they something that we should be focused on in the future, so that we can say no to that right now? It doesn't mean we have to say no to it forever, but right now we say no to it so that we can focus on our most important tasks right now. Okay. And then the most important question, guys, this is a really simple question, but it's simply this: I want to use this coaching session to blank, or the specific results that I want from this session are blank. And what I do is, before every single call, I will send these questions out to my coaching clients. The day before our call, they'll have a series of questions and it says, what have I accomplished since our last session? What did I intend to accomplish but did not? The challenges I'm facing are. The opportunities in front of me are. I want to use this coaching session to, or the specific results I want this session are, and then they tell me what they want to work with. Do you see the importance of doing this, guys? If the answer is yes, please type in yes so I know you're here. Eric, Lynn, I see you guys participating. Thank you. But these are the simple questions that save you time and, most importantly, remove stress. Like, there can be a lot of stress when it comes to coaching of like, do I know, am I going to provide enough value? This also goes back to, Eric, that importance of being clear. You see, yes, you do want to have some structure to your coaching, for sure. Typically, if I offer a 90-day challenge or a 90-day coaching program, all I need to really structure is the first 4 weeks of that. Okay? As long as I'm clear on what those 4 weeks are, the rest of it is based on what the client is needing. Okay? The rest of it can be created as I go. And here's the truth about this thing. I am going to teach you, and I have been teaching you, on sales, on marketing, on systems. I shared a lot of that stuff with you on the previous modules, and those are important. Those are required in order to hit the income that you want to hit. And those skill sets are only about 10%, maybe 20% of the most of what's going to get you the results. The 80 to 90% is your own mindset, your own belief about yourself. If you have a ceiling financially of thinking that $5,000 a month is the maximum that you've ever made, until you bust through that ceiling, you will not hit 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 that month. You won't. You've got to be able to expand your capacity of what you view money as. This is why when I started coaching thinking that people charged hourly. And that was such a limited model. It wasn't until I was in a mastermind, of which I invested $20,000 to be a part of, or I was meeting and sitting next to and having meals and learning from men and women that were charging $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month for coaching. That wasn't even a possibility in my mind beforehand. So your mindset is crucial as it relates to this. Now, I want to share a couple other principles as it relates to fearless coaching. Okay, these are really important concepts, and I want to share this with you. And after that, I want to open up the call because I want to give time for you guys to ask questions. So as I go through this, think about right now some questions that you have specifically in your business right now that you're struggling with that I could support you on. Okay, I want to make that the latter half of this call. So principle number one of fearless coaching is go deep. Go deeper. Go deeper than you could ever imagine. Okay. The training that I had today or this weekend had this mantra that said, your job is to give and give and give and give until you have nothing left to give. And then it's to give and give and give some more. Same thing applies to coaching. You've got to be on a relentless quest to go deeper than ever imagined, than they ever imagined. You've got to find the goal behind the goal. You've got to ask, what would happen if this was achieved? What would this look like? Because this is what differentiates you from everyone else. Most people, guys, are coaching on the surface. What do you want? When do you want it by? Okay, let's create a plan and go and achieve it. If you're not helping this person clarify the goal behind the goal, behind the goal, behind the goal, then you're not going to create lasting transformation or pull out real deep levels of commitment. You've got to go deeper in terms of the possibility of what this goal could create in this person's life. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is be bold. Be bold. You need to say boldly what needs to be said, and you can't hide anything. So one of my experiences this weekend in this training was we would speak in front of a group, okay, whether it's a room of 30 people or maybe it's a small group of 5 or 6, and people would give us feedback and they would say, my experience of you is blank. This is a very confronting experience, okay? My experience of you is arrogant. My experience of you is inauthentic. My experience of you is scared little boy. My experience of you is lacking self-worth. My experience of you is afraid to take a risk. My experience of you is scared of failing. Like literally, this is the feedback that people were giving me. And at first it triggered me. At first it was uncomfortable, but it shined a light on a blind spot in my life. And you've got to show up and be that bold with your clients, with your downline. Of course, don't be mean, don't be angry, don't be hateful, but let them know and be bold into how you're experiencing them. If they're not getting the results that they want and you know it's because of their commitment, tell them, my experience of you is that you're not committed to this. My experience of you is that you're just kind of going through the motions. My experience of you is that you're actually not taking risks here. So what needs to change in order for you? Like I literally will have those conversations with clients, guys. This is deep stuff. And again, to connect this to how this makes you money. Okay, to connect this to how this makes you money. Because if you're thinking right now that this isn't relevant to you, I want to reassure you the importance of this because your business, your future business is dependent on the results that you get your clients today. Okay? Your future business results are dependent on the results that you get your clients today. So if you're getting non-committal clients, if you're getting them limited results, then you will not get any powerful case studies. You will not get any testimonials. They will definitely not refer anyone to you. And those things have to be happening in your business to really be earning $10, $20, $30,000 a month in your coaching business. Okay. So be bold, say boldly what needs to be said and hide nothing. You're not there again to be their friend. I've got to say that again. And again, apologize. There's hold on one second, guys. Okay. Hey, Holden, could you take that away from Molly? Thank you. Okay. I've got a dog here with a toy. So, okay. Next one is be okay with silence. Be okay with silence. This is really, really important. There is power in silence. There is power in a pause. When you say something to a client of yours, whether they're in a health and fitness challenge or they're in your downline, and you're getting to make a point, I want you to use the power of a pause because it is one of the most powerful coaching tools. It literally will captivate their attention. It will pull them into the message that you're giving them. Okay. Same thing in sales calls, guys. Remember, when you ask somebody a question, or let's say you get to the point of asking them, are you in? After you presented the package to them, after you told them what they're going to get and how much the investment is, and then you ask them, so are you in? Pause. Mute yourself. That silence is the opportunity for the person to make a decision, to make a commitment. If you feel uncomfortable by that pause and you take it away from them, it's a disservice to them. It's taking their opportunity away and their ability away to decide. Okay? So when you're coaching, for example, start by breathing. Start a coaching call. When I start a coaching call, I literally am looking into the camera and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I do that with my coaching client. I do that to ground them, to get them present because we are distracted. And if they're thinking about their dog, if they're thinking about a fight that they just had with a spouse, if they're thinking about a call that they have to make to a family member, to a prospect or a client, then they're not fully present. Pausing creates presence, and there's power in silence. Okay, so that's the other one. Closely related to that, you've got to keep your attention on the inside. Keep some of your attention, guys, into what you're feeling during a coaching call. Yes, you're going to serve them. Yes, you're fully attentive to every single word that they say, but you're also feeling yourself because your intuition is so powerful. This stuff, guys, this doesn't just apply to coaching. This applies directly to enrollment conversations that you're having. Okay. When you're present into what you're feeling and you're following your intuition and your gut, you serve more powerfully. You coach in a much, much powerful way. Okay. The next principle is pay absolute 100% focused attention to the words of your client. Pay absolute 100% focused attention to the words of your client. Because you and I know that your language creates how you see the world. For example, if you were my coaching client and you were telling me how you hope to make more money someday, or you always try to get in better shape, or you're going to try to get in better shape, then I know without a shadow of a doubt that you gave up before you even started. You quit before you even made an effort. Because language like try, I hope that this happens. Boy, I wish that I had more money. Boy, I wish that, I wasn't in such a terrible place, in the country where there's no economy. These are victim statements. They are victim statements. And I'm not saying that your circumstances aren't challenging. I'm not taking that away from you. I know that some of you are in a very challenging place financially, and you've got to pay attention to your own language as well as the language of your clients. Because again, it doesn't matter how great your mentoring is, if their inner dialogue is, I'm not enough, I'm afraid to take risks, I'm born to be a failure, whatever that is, then limiting beliefs create limited actions, which yield limited results. Limiting beliefs create limited actions, which yield limited results. Okay? So, How they see the world becomes their world. One of the reasons why I created a 4-part video series to enroll clients, and I invite you guys to do the same thing. Create a video series for free online, okay? That's enrolling them into a new way of viewing the world and a new way of viewing themselves. The reason why I did that is because by the end of that video series, if somebody watches it fully till the end, they are convinced, number one, that it's possible to transform their body, and number two, that not only is it possible, but it's possible for them. They have the ability to shift their mindset and their beliefs and their identity in order to take action to get those results. Before, they didn't believe it was possible. So I could get on a call with them and have a great strategy session, but if they, in the back of their mind, knew that they weren't going to do the work, then I would never get them as a client. Or if I did, it'd be a nightmare client because they would never be fully committed. Okay? So really pay attention to their words. The other thing is speak to them about their words. So I had a coaching call earlier today, and a client of mine was telling me how he wanted to try to go to CrossFit 3 times this week. And I literally said, his name was Oren. Oren, are you open to receive some powerful coaching right now that may be uncomfortable? I said that. Are you open to receive some powerful coaching that may feel uncomfortable? He goes, yes, I am. So I captured permission. So that's the other thing, guys. When you are getting feedback, always ask for permission, okay? Ask for permission. Get the commitment that they're open to receive it, okay? And I say, my experience of you is that you're a total victim. And you saying a word try means that you're not actually committed at all to following through on this commitment. So should we change this commitment and take it off the table and say that you're not going to CrossFit today? Or do you want to use a new, more powerful set of language to convince me that you're going to do what you say you're going to do? Because your word is your bond. Guys, when you operate from that place, from that beingness, you create results. If you operate from a place of lack of power, of afraid, of weakness, then you're not going to create results. There's power in your language, okay? Another thing that's really important is hide nothing as a coach. One of the things that you've probably noticed from me from the first webinar that you saw me do was that I'm very vulnerable and I'm very raw and I'm very real about what's working in my life and what's not working. And the benefit of doing that, of hiding nothing, this is the next one, hiding nothing, hide nothing. So write that down. The benefit is it builds trust. It builds rapport. It makes me relatable to you. You know, sometimes, yes, you could go buy a product from Brendon Burchard. He's a really well-known coach's coach. But very few people are even close to Brendon Burchard's level. And it's hard to believe Brendon because he has this image of perfection. And people see it and they kind of go, oh my God, well, that's him. I could never be like that. If Brendon infused more authenticity and more rawness, now, again, I'm not discounting the man as an entrepreneur. The man's brilliant. He's created an amazing business, like one of the most successful coaching companies in the world. And his impact could be 10 times what it is if he infused and started to be open more and stop hiding so much that he's afraid of sharing. Okay? So show up fully expressed, show the real you, hide nothing, and hold nothing back. Okay? The next principle is set a clear intention. Get clear on where you are speaking from and where you are speaking to. Say, my intention for this call is for you to walk away and boom, experience this, create this. Like, you guys are, you're leaders. As a coach, whether it's your own health and fitness coaching company, whether it's Beachbody business, whether it's Isogenics, whether it's a business, life coaching business, love, whatever it is, you are a leader. People want to be led. You need to show up powerfully as a leader. You need to decide. You need to take risks. You need to move forward. If you're not doing that, then people can feel that. They can see that. They can hear it in your language, and you may tell them all the words that they need to hear, but they still aren't going to follow you. My commitment, guys, is to create leaders, world leaders. That's my commitment, is to transform fear into faith so that people create the impact and or the income that they desire. That's my mission in life. That's what I was born to do. And that's what I'm supporting you on. And by doing that, I can have the greatest impact because you're going out and operating effectively. Okay. One thing I just want to make sure, again, I reiterate this: seek permission. When you're having really direct, challenging conversation, um, really seek permission that they're willing to accept and receive constructive, interruptive, direct feedback. Okay. If you do that with somebody without permission, you break rapport. If you were to do that, for example, with somebody on, let's say that you and I have never worked together, and we get on a call, and within the first 5 minutes, someone's talking to me, and I go, geez, you sound like a victim. Without any rapport. Do you think that would end well? No, I don't think so. So you've got to build that rapport, that trust, and seek that permission. Okay. Of course, guys, always invest in yourself. Write this down, but there's a reason why. I'm listening to audiobooks, podcasts, watching webinars, attending seminars every single day for 30 minutes every single day at the minimum. If I'm going to a seminar, I typically go to a seminar every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. I know it's crazy. It costs a lot of money, but it's putting me in the right mindset that I need to be in order to go out and impact my clients, in order to take risks, in order to create results. If I'm not doing that, then my certainty plummets. My confidence plummets. I start showing up incongruent and out of congruency, and no one wants to follow me. Okay. Final couple ones that I want to leave you with is just be you. Be you. Have fun. Guys, be playful on your calls. Yes, your job is to create results, but it's also to be a human and enjoy this process. Enjoy the struggle. Enjoy the fear that's coming up. Be you. For the first 2 years of my life, I wasn't even me. I was my mentors. I was adopting Garrett White's voice, and then I was adopting Sean Stevenson's voice, and then John Butcher's voice, and all these people I was modeling myself after. I was never sharing my authentic voice. Just now, literally just within the last several weeks, I'm starting to begin to really allow people to experience me for me. And it's really created immense results in my business as a result of that. So be you, commit, play full out, and be willing to fail. Guys, you got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to get doors slammed in your face. You got to be willing to collect no's, because yes lives in the land of no. And, get people, your clients, get your prospects to either, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. When you say no to 99% of things, it frees you up to say yes to the right things. Okay. Now, I want to share a couple resources with you that are going to be valuable. So, when it comes to the mindset of coaching, number one, the first book that comes to mind is a book that I shared. So if you haven't read it yet, it's in the Facebook group. For those of you watching this live, for those of you on the recording, it is in the membership site, and it's called The Prosperous Coach. It's a book by Rich Litvin, who I believe he's a friend of mine, but he's also one of the most powerful coaches on the planet. He's no bullshit. He's very real, and he gets people results. And listening to his work or reading his book will help you tremendously. So The Prosperous Coach is one book that I recommend. Two other books that are more for your own personal growth, but by you learning these books and reading them, they make you a better coach, better than, say, 90% of coaches. One is called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I've got that book in paperback. I don't have a PDF that I can't send you, so you'll have to get that on Amazon. But that talks about the important distinction between the drift and the shift. Basically saying when you are it talks about an upper limit syndrome, or upper limit problem, ULP, which is basically for any high achiever who's taking massive action and used to getting big results. When you get to a certain point where you're outside of your comfort zone, let's say that your business is operating better than you're used to, your relationship hasn't had a fight in a month, and it feels like things are too good to be true, you start self-sabotaging. Okay. This book talks about that process. It also explores the distinction between operating in your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, and your zone of genius. Okay. Many of you, like myself, are wearing many hats in our businesses. Okay. And there are things that have to get done. Social media posts have to be made. Emails have to be sent. Funnels have to be built. Sales conversations have to be had. Uh, Graphic design has to be done. All of those things. But really, the truth is, for me, the only things the highest and best use of my time is to show up, coach, lead, speak, and train, and write. Sometimes write, but that's it. Being coaching, training, speaking on a stage or in a program like this, or writing and creating content. That's my stuff. All the emails, all the funnels, all that stuff is not the highest and best use of my time. I don't love doing it, and I'm not the best in the world at, but I am excellent. And this is my zone of genius for focusing on this. So that's what that book is about. And the final book I want to recommend is by Byron Katie, and it's called Loving What Is. And I'm sure some of you have read Loving What Is. If you haven't, go pick up that book today, right now, and read it, because it talks about how most of our suffering in this life, and most of our pain, and most of our frustration, and our dis-ease comes from not people in our life or events that happened or experiences we had. It comes from the stories that we tell ourselves about those people, about those events, about those experiences. And those stories create limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs, as you know, create pain, create anxiety, create anger, create sadness, whatever it is. So this one book will teach you a science, a series of questions to ask yourself to alleviate the suffering, a series of questions to ask your clients to alleviate the suffering. So, guys, that was the content portion of this training. This was very focused on mindset, but these principles, I want you to re-listen to this training multiple times, because again, this isn't content heavy. This isn't some strategy to go get your next client. It's a way of being. There's a distinction between doing and being. Okay. What we typically want is more information on what we need to do. But if you're doing all these things and you're still not getting results, it's because of your way of being. It's because of how you are showing up in the world and how people are experiencing you. So that's the focus and crux of this training. Listen to this several times this week to let this fully immerse. Go back if you weren't actively listening to this and take notes on this. Right now, what I'm going to do, guys, is open up the line. We've got 10 minutes. I want to let you guys ask me any question about challenges that you're facing, about goals that you have, and be specific. Be specific about your business. Be specific about your fears, about clients that you're working with. Whatever's coming up, right now is your time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and unmute this. So all of you are on mute. I'll let you just kind of speak first, whoever's ready, and feel free to ask me a question. And if you are muted, then check the control panel on your computer screen or on your phone and unmute yourself, because right now you're unmuted.
All right, Peter, you there?
Eric, yes, brother. How are you?
All right, I'm doing awesome. Doing awesome. Yeah, great call. I mean, you kind of answered my question, but I think I want to put it out there because maybe people might not have connected the dots.
Yes.
But pre-qualifying, right? It's like, well, what if they fail your pre-qualification, right? And I guess they're obviously not really a good client for you. They're not ready for you, right? They're
So
not going.
yes. So my short answer is yes. If they fail pre-qualification, they are not ready for you. But can you give me a specific example? Is this an income? Is this a commitment? Give me an example of what this looks like so I can elaborate more.
Okay, let's just okay. As a Beachbody coach, I'm talking to somebody about doing 21-day fix, right?
Okay.
And they don't know if they can really commit to eating right, right? Even with the containers, they're hesitant, but they'll go ahead and buy the program,
Yep.
right? So I have someone that will buy the program, but their commitment is hazy, right?
Yep.
Now, am I just setting them up for failure? Am I So that's
So here's the thing, as long as you make the distinction, so you let them know that buying 21 Day Fix is not what's going to provide them the solution that they want.
okay.
Implementing and following through and staying committed on that program is what's going to get them the result. You know that, right? Like for me,
Hmm.
if I was to order Insanity and then never go through any of the Insanity programs or the P90X or 21 Day Fix, then I could say that I'm frustrated with you and I want my money back or whatever that looks like. But the truth is, it's not your fault. It's not Beachbody's fault. It's that person's lack of commitment. So in the questions, if you remember, go back and look at the sales strategy session script that I
Hmm.
gave you. There's a series of questions that ask directly about somebody's commitment. Okay. And
Yep.
if you really want, this is a sales technique, and I don't say this to be manipulative. I want you to do this of integrity, but you can do a takeaway and say, you know, based on a conversation, I just feel like you aren't fully committed to this, and it would be a
Hmm.
disservice if I was to offer this to you. If you
Hmm.
were to say that, I can assure you that most people would probably come back if they really wanted what you're offering them and say, well, hold on. Okay. I realize I'm a little nervous about this, or I have a little fear or limiting beliefs around it. And they start convincing you that they're committed. The benefit of that is it makes them more committed, right? Because they
Yes. Yeah.
sell themselves on it. And,
Yep.
um, you know, a program like 21 Day Fix, I mean, how much take home income do you get from something like that? Not a lot, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
So
It's
think
about the
about,
result. It's
yep,
about getting people results.
that's exactly what it's about, getting people results, especially because if they get results, then they're going to be more committed to become a Beachbody coach, right? Because they've
Yes.
experienced that transformation themselves. That's why. So if you guys have a lot of people that are buying the shakes and going through the programs and things like that, but very few of them are becoming coaches because they're not getting the transformation they want, that's because they're not committed to begin with.
Hmm. Exactly. Let's
Does that
see.
help answer your question?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now,
Yeah. I
again,
really I
are
was gonna say
there,
I need to go deeper is really what I need to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
really. So go deeper in two areas. Go deeper into the benefits of what that result, how that would improve their relationships, how that would
Hmm.
help them feel, in terms of being a role model for their kids, their connection with their wife or their husband, um, their self confidence, how would they operate differently in business. Get really clear on those benefits. But even more importantly than that, Eric, is that term, that I don't like, but it works, is pouring salt in the wound, inducing the pain. You know, if you don't do this, if you and I don't work together and you leave this call and you don't do 21 Day Fix, where are you going to be 6 months from now? Okay. Do you think is your confidence going to be better, the same, or worse? Worse. Are you going to be healthier or sicker? Way more sicker. How's your business going to be doing? Like, create this cascade effect, which is happening. So it's not a manipulative thing, it's the truth.
Sure.
You're simply shining a light on a blind spot of something in their life that they're afraid to look at.
Yeah.
Like,
What if
yeah, go
I've
ahead.
done that with people, and the one person in particular, she could agree that in 6 months that things might be a little worse for her and all that, but it didn't seem to like really charge her why she needs to eat better, stick to the program, and get the results, right?
Well, yeah. So if that's the case, and if she didn't have a deep purpose, then that's not a
Yes.
good client for you. I shared that analogy of life of Coast Guard, right? Is
Mhm.
like you only can save the people that are swimming towards you. If you're trying to go towards those people that are just you know minimally committed, that are just dipping their toe in the water, number
Yeah.
one, it's a nightmare to serve people like that and to coach them because
Yes.
they're actually not doing the work that you're coaching them on doing. And so you get frustrated because they're frustrated. And I've seen clients of mine do this. I've done this before. I don't do this anymore at all. But my first few clients were like that because I just wasn't taking a powerful stand for them in that enrollment conversation. So if they're not really connected to their purpose of why they want this and committed to following through on it, then it's not a client. then just tell them and say, you know what, it'd actually be a disservice if I sold you this,
Hmm.
because I feel based on our conversation that you could buy this and then you're going to never go through any one of these videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Makes
be
perfect
okay
sense.
with that. Now, again, you also want to remain flexible as a coach, right? So, for example, when I was bringing people into my coaching, when I was charging like, I think when I went from $500 to $1,000 a month, there were some
Hmm.
people that couldn't afford $1,000 a month, which again isn't true. It's just they weren't committed to paying that, right? So what I did was I said, okay, instead of, if I knew they were really committed, of course, so I only did this with people that I knew would be committed and would get results. I said, okay, how can I customize a plan for you? So instead of talking every single week on a one-on-one call, we're only going to talk every other week.
Hmm.
And so it'll be half the price. So they get half of me, but I'm still able to serve them, and their level of commitment is still sky high because they invested outside of their comfort zone. So I want you to be able to remain flexible on that, but really, really caution you, Eric, from getting people into your programs, buying products that you know based on a conversation aren't committed, because it's just going to cause more problems for you.
You know what? You hit it. I mean, That's exactly it. I'm talking to people where I feel like they might go with the program, but are they really going to commit to it? Even if they don't get a challenge pack and just buy the DVDs, it's still not answering the question of how committed are you to getting the change.
Yep.
Because I might as well not sell them anything if they're not going to, commit to it.
Exactly. And that's okay, because like the last thing I want is for people to start telling their friends, their family that they're not getting results by working with me.
Hmm.
You know what?
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
that hurts my brand. Like that hurts my
Yeah.
ego. Of course, like I'm committed to impact over income any day of the week, but also from a business perspective, it hurts my bank account in the future tremendously, right? There was a
Yep.
client that even I was I remember this was 2 years ago. There was a client who wasn't getting the results that he wanted. He wasn't committed. I ended up refunding what he invested and ending the agreement. I did that, not because of me not serving him, because of his lack of commitment. And I go,
Mhm.
I had the foresight to see, listen, we're 2 months into the coaching. And it's been like pulling teeth. You paid for 6 months. I don't see you committed. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to end the agreement. I'm going to refund the balance of what you invested. And brother, that was not a fun thing to do. Like that hurt me financially at the time.
Yeah.
But it also freed me up to get a new client who was way, way, way more committed than the client that I had.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. I mean, this is kind of where my stumbling is, and yeah, awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome, brother. I'm gonna check in with Lynn and Rachel since they're on to see if they have any questions, and I'll mute you just for a second, Eric. If they don't, then we'll go back and I want to answer another question you have. Okay?
Okay, great.
Okay. Hey, Lynn or Rachel or anyone else on this call, if you guys have questions, again, please feel free to unmute your microphone and ask me something so I can support you.
Hi, Peter. It's Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Lynn. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing really well. How can I help you?
So, um, like tonight's call and every single one of the calls, I feel like as I'm listening and as you're talking, you're like answering every single question I have, and I'm having all these aha moments, and I'm like crossing off my questions because they're getting answered as you're talking. But
Awesome.
my main thing is not really a question, more I guess I don't even know, like advice
Hmm.
is. So as I'm posting all these things online, I don't really have like a clear before and after yet because I'm kind of in my own journey fitness wise, and I'm it's like almost getting a lot of like adult bullying, if you will, from
Hmm.
people, saying maybe I'm oversharing too much, or people like close to me that I've just recently heard. Somebody approached me saying I was making them a little uncomfortable with my posts, like maybe you're being a little too vulnerable online, Lynn.
Yep.
Um, and I guess do I, just keep doing that, like just keep showing up, like you said, and just being bold because I feel like I am connecting with some people, but there's those handful of people that kind of almost not poking fun at you, but kind of like, what are you doing? You
Oh,
know?
I get that. Gosh, I'm like my heart goes out to you because I know when I first experienced that, it hurt a lot, and I
Right.
don't know if it's like impacting you in that way and the way it impacted me. Um, but here's how I handled that. Okay, I definitely got that. So much so, Lynn, that I actually had to block several family members from Facebook, and I
Mm-hmm.
told them, and I said these were cousins of mine, and like I had a like a second cousin as well. And I go, I love you guys. I will, talk to you on the phone at any time. I'll see you at the family reunions. But I'm really committed to this vision. I'm really committed to building this movement and impacting humanity. And I don't want to continue to receive criticism from you because I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for everyone else that's benefiting from this. And this was after us having several conversations about it. So I said, so I'm choosing to block you on social media so that my stuff no longer impacts you because I'm not going to stop. My job, my purpose in life isn't to make you comfortable. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I love you tremendously. But I'm sharing my journey because there's something that I'm going through that I believe in, that I believe could save lives, could impact humanity, could do these things. And because of that, yes, I had people unfollow me. I had people defriend me, unfriend me. But I blocked some people because they were just giving me really poor feedback. Now, usually people who have been following me are just committed to following me because they're receiving value from it, right? But the thing is this, you hear only when you're beginning, you typically only hear from the haters or the people
Right.
that are uncomfortable. You don't know about the countless people that are benefiting from your post right now because they haven't
Mm-hmm.
shown up yet, and they will. And then when you start receiving comments that are encouraging or notes of appreciation through a Facebook message, it makes everything worth it. And if you were to let that one comment that family member, that friend say, where you let them make, they say that they feel uncomfortable, if you want to, you can acknowledge that and say, I understand that this makes you uncomfortable. That's not my intention. My intention is this, but also I'm not doing this in order to make you comfortable. So if you really don't like this, then I strongly encourage you, please unfollow me. It doesn't mean we're not friends, but just do that. And I had to create boundaries, and I really had to distance myself from some people in my life. Like some of my past coworkers, guys, my career when I started was investment banking, totally different than what I do now. I had so much heat from my friends that I used to work with in investment banking in Chicago because they just thought I was nuts. They didn't believe in what I was doing. They were so discouraging. And I simply said, I love you guys, and I'm going to do this without your encouragement, without your support. And I'm going to create boundaries, and it may be me blocking you so that I can do this without so much negative feedback. Does that help?
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's what I'm focusing on too as I'm doing it, just because there is a handful of comments that I get or messages that are really inspiring, and I'm
Yeah.
happy that I can reach people. But then there's that one that you're just like, oh, like
Yeah. And here's the thing,
you know,
the more you grow, the more your network on social media grows, you're going to have more and more criticism.
right,
Like you are. You know, I have gotten so much more criticism as I've grown, and that's okay. I've also had way more people who appreciated things, who showed me how much their life has impacted from my message. I get way more of that. But again, if you got zero criticism,
mm-hmm.
then no one would know that you existed.
Right,
If your message was just kind of, you'd post every now and then, you know what I mean? You didn't kind of take a stand for what you believed, then no one would notice you. So by you taking a stand and showing your commitment to nutrition, your commitment to fitness, people who are noticing are benefiting tremendously, and there's a few people that are frustrated by it. Let them be that way. The greatest freedom in life, guys, write this down. This is, I always say that some things are like the most valuable piece of advice, but I really think this one is it. The greatest um, greatest freedom in life is allowing another to have their own experience. The greatest freedom in life is allowing another person to have their own experience. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them be, you know, upset. That's their stuff, Lynn. It's not your responsibility to manage that.
I agree.
And
Thank
talk
you.
about that. So here's the other
Yeah.
thing. Talk about that, because when I was writing my book, I my grandmother, who I love dearly, and I'm just kind of sharing this intimately with the two of you on this call right now, but she really pushed against me putting my book out there because my family story's in there, right? And she said, Peter, if you publish this book, I'm going to disown you because you're going to ruin the family name. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever heard someone who meant so much to me say. And I talked, like, I shared that. I didn't give the specifics of that. I didn't say that on social media, right? But I'm telling you this because I said I acknowledge the fact that um, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be people that don't support your vision. I mean, just think about historical figures. Think about Abraham Lincoln. Think about Martin Luther King. Think about Mother Teresa. Think about Gandhi. Like, think about these people and the amount of criticism that they received. Death threats, literally death threats, right? Some of them, like death, like, yeah, and they still moved through that. They still they didn't let that stop them. And that's an extreme example, but as you get more noticed, as your exposure increases, you're going to have people that resist you. You're going to have haters. And I say bring it is like my attitude. I'm like, bring it on. I don't care. I actually kind of use it as fuel now, where before it was a little discouraging. And the more you do this, Lynn, just trust me on this, the more comfortable you're going to be with it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if there's one person specifically that you really are struggling with, just, have a conversation with them. Just be really raw and let them know that what you're afraid of saying. Be like, I'm afraid of sharing this with you because I don't want to impact our relationship because I love you. Like, just be really raw. I'm having right after this call, I'm taking my sister to dinner. It's her birthday this week, and I'm going to be sharing things with her that I've never shared with her, and I'm going to really own up into how I've been showing up, at times as not the best brother, not there for her, sometimes putting my business in front of her, and I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it, and I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know it's not going to be easy, but our connection as a result of this, I know is going to be so much stronger.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know you have to go, so I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Okay,
So,
you're welcome. Again, as always, let me know if you guys have questions. Just like, seriously, guys, you've got the Facebook group. I want you to be able to ask in there me something, and I'll respond to it. Okay. Um, thank you, guys. I do have to get going. Eric, if you have any other questions, man, I know you're on the call. Just shoot me a message or post it inside the Earn 10K coaching group on Facebook, and I'll answer that. And I cannot wait for our call about. Next week, it's about the branding. It's about building a platform that expands way beyond everything that we've done thus far and everything that you can do solo. It's leveraging podcasts, speaking engagements, things like that. So we're going to do that next Tuesday. And I love you guys so much. I appreciate you being in this program, and I cannot wait to talk to you soon. Okay. This is Peter Scott reminding you to be here, act now, and fear less. Good night, guys.